Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. You know what I always think of during this part? I always think of, have you seen that lady on TikTok that always goes dun dun with the microphone and she goes, hey, hello my friends, and she has her little tiara. I love her. She's so funny. But I always think of that now during my intro because I would rather say that, but obviously that's like her thing. I don't know. Do we ever know what's going on with buns? Because I don't. See those girls with those like stupid perfect buns and I'm literally like, how did you get there? How? Anyways, back to what this video is about. Okay. My bronzer collection. I wanted to show you guys my bronzer collection. So I'm going to go through what I have, give you my thoughts on it, swatch it out so you can see them. And yeah, get pumped. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button and don't forget to like this video before you leave. And yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so these aren't going to be like in any particular order. I'm just going to grab them as we go and go from there. The one I have on the top is the Tom Ford bronzer. This is their Shade and Light Duo in Intensity 1. I have actually completely panned one of these. I had the shade 0.05 and I think I liked that one better. This one is a smidge deeper. Obviously it does work for me though. I love this formula because it's really easy to work with. It's really blendable. I don't have any issues with it. It's a really nice tone. Obviously this tone is a little bit warmer, but when you blend it out, I also feel like it loses some of that like heat. But I really love it. Like I said, I've literally completely panned one. It's just so easy to work with. I love the formula. I'm actually probably, I believe this was the oldest cream bronzer in my collection. This was sent to me in friend mail. And I think that I might like kind of start low-key focusing on it soon because it is a little bit older and creams don't last as long. But yeah, I hadn't planned to repurchase this just because they sell it in a duo and I don't like the top. And I just cannot bring myself to pay $90 to just use the bottom half of a product. Like I can't do it. So, I was really lucky that a friend was like, I'm not using mine, you can have it. Very, very blessed. So yeah, I love this one and I highly recommend it. The next bronzer that I have is a little bit newer to my collection. This is the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair. The texture of this is just to die for. Like it is like a cream whipped mousse, and on camera it doesn't look that warm, but when I get it on my face it does pull I guess I wouldn't say warm, but deep. It's a little bit deep for my skin tone. I think that maybe when I get a tan in the summer it'll work a little bit better for me. It does blend out really easily, really beautifully. I just think that I would have benefited from a shade that was like a smidge lighter. I have been using it for like underpainting and it works really well for me that way. So it's definitely one I'm still going to keep in my collection. But when/if I ever finish it, I don't necessarily think that I would repurchase it. Next up, we have my Alamar Trio. This one is in the shade Light. You all should be pretty familiar with this by now. This is my powdered bronzers, and I'll swatch both of them for you. These are the two that I am attempting to pan this year. I really love that you get the two options because this is more my shade up here in the winter if I want to put something on the top. And then this is more my shade in the summer if I want to put something on the top. But what I love about it is that you can mix them and you get like the most gorgeous shade. I'm like trying to rub it in on my arm right now to mix them for you guys. But you get like a really nice shade that's in the middle. And I really enjoy that. That's actually the way that I use it the majority of the time. is by mixing it. I find that these powders blend really easily, really effortlessly. I also think that these are really affordable. It is a powdered bronzer that I would consider repurchasing, except for the fact that I don't use this at all. So like, I don't want to buy it and not use a whole third of it. This is like a brightener. Bitch, I don't need that. I am pale enough. I don't need any of the brightening stuff. Plus, like, I just don't like use powder at all to set or to do anything like that. So I don't think for that reason I would repurchase it, but I am, oh, when I swatched it, I like covered the waffles back up, but I am actively working on completely panning these, and I would recommend them. They're really great powdered bronzers. I don't have any issues with them at all. I really enjoy them. Next up, we have a bronzer that is a little bit newer to me. It was in my last Get Ready With Me on Sunday. It's from Saint in the shade Walnut. I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about this particular product. The shade is really nice. It is more on the cooler toned side, but it doesn't fall too cool to the point where it's gray, because I don't like super cool tone things. They tend to pull gray or even green on me sometimes. So I'm not really a cool tone gal, but I feel like this is a really nice in between. The thing about this formula is that it is a little bit stiffer, so it does take a minute to warm up. I didn't really have any issues per se blending it out, but I preferred to warm it up with my finger, dot my face, and then go in with a brush. I feel like that has been working the best for me in terms of being able to get it out, because it's honestly just like too stiff to get out of the pan with a sponge or a brush, unless you're like, which I don't want to be. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's a little bit more difficult to work with. I don't think that I would repurchase it. I think there are other creams in my collection that I like a lot better, but I don't hate it. Next up, we have this Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm Face Palette. I'm really excited. I'm still glad that I picked this up. I was able to get it on Cult Beauty, like when it launched, for like a super discounted price. I wasn't really sure how much I would love it, just because, as you can see, this looks like it pulls pretty cool, and I was unsure if that would be too dark. I don't use powder highlight. Literally, there was every reason in the book for me to not buy this. What I do? I bought it because it's so pretty. It tempted me with its like packaging and with the embossing. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked me in that way. And honestly, I need to pull this out to be in my rotation. I haven't, because I've been on such a panning kick with my Olimar one, but I need to bust this one back out. When I swatch these, they do look really nice. As you can see, this one is a bit deeper. It's warm, but when you get that like blended out onto your face, it doesn't look that deep. It actually looks really beautiful on my skin tone, and this does not pull nearly as cool as it looks in the pan. So I was really happy about that, because like I said, I was so nervous. These actually both look really nice on my skin tone. I don't really feel like if you're any deeper than like a light to medium, you would be able to work with these shades. I don't have deeper skin, so I don't know, maybe you could work with this one. But they just apply, they're not super pigmented, which is fine. They apply really lightly, and I find that I have to build them up. I like to mix them and then go in that way. They do blend effortlessly. I feel like the formulation is really unique as well. It's almost like a baked formula, but not quite as powdery as a baked formula. So yeah, I don't know. I really just enjoy it. I'm glad I have it in my collection. It's something that I definitely need to rotate into my basket as far as powders go, just because you all know I don't use powders a ton, but I definitely would recommend these as well. Next, I have, it's not technically a bronzer, but it's what I use it for. It's the Merit Complexion Stick. This one is in the shade Amber. They had reached out to me in regards of like PR and a post and whatever, And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make the most out of this and order everything I can. And I was like, trying to build like a full-ish face with the product. And I wanted to get one that would work really well for me for like bronzing. The shade that I wanted was sold out. So this was the next best thing. I do think that it's a little bit warm for me. Like I said, the shade is amber, but I can use it for underpainting. And it works well for me that way. Well enough that I don't think that I'm going to get rid of it anytime soon. I think that I could use it up underpainting. But I do like this formula in general. It's really easy to work with, blends out really nicely. It's not super stiff, but it's not overly moussey. I love the complexion sticks. I don't think they're too drying or anything like that. So if you're in the market and you want to be like, you know, using this for something else kind of situation, I really like this for a bronzer. I think it does a nice job. Like I said, I think I would have selected like a different shade, but I can't get away with this one. And I think that if you had a little bit deeper skin than me, then I think this would work fine for you. So yeah, just my 2 cents. I really like it. I think it works nice. Something that is super new to my collection. This is actually what I'm wearing today. It's the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay bronzer. And I think that this looks so nice on me. I don't like the brush on the end. I just don't think it's necessary. I think the shade looks kind of warm in the camera right here, but it doesn't look too warm on my face at all. Like I said, I think that this shade is perfect. The formula was a little bit stiffer. I went in with the stick and then I blended it out with the brush, and it did take a second to blend out, but it blended out nicely. I didn't have any patches or anything like that. Obviously, I will see how it wears throughout the day, but I really feel like this might become a favorite just because it was so quick, it was so easy, and the tone is perfect. The tone is perfect. I feel like similar to foundation and concealer, bronzer is difficult, for me at least, to find like that perfect tone. Most of my bronzers either run a smidge warm or a smidge deep or a smidge cool, and I have to like finagle them. But this is a really nice, I didn't have to do anything to it, and I really love how it looks. So really enjoying this so far. Actually, when this video goes up, I'll be using it for the first time in my Get Ready With Me. So you'll be seeing the application process of this here pretty soon. The next product I have is from Phytosurgeons. It's their Meteor Mist and Spectral Shine. This technically isn't a bronzer, but I picked it up to use as a bronzer. It's like they're like illuminating products. And I picked it up because I wanted to use it as a bronzer. And I almost felt like it could be really similar to the Tower 28, which I'm going to leave this swatch on so we can compare them. But this is what it looks like. And I thought it would be an okay tone on me, but it pulls like a little too orange. And I know I filmed a video where I was trying it out, and like some people said they thought it looked fine, but now that I'm swatching it, I almost feel like I can see the orange a little bit more. I'm going to swatch this Tower 28 one and see what it looks like. Yeah, so my Tower 28 one is it's on the top there. It's on the warmer side, but I don't think it's nearly as like warm. I think the undertone is a little bit different. I'm not saying that the Spectral Shine is a bad product, because it's an incredible product and I love it. You guys have seen it. I'm panning them. I just think that I'm not gonna be able to get away with the shade. I'm gonna try it again though. Because I just can't let it go. I'm gonna try it again. But that's what it looks like. And then, like I said, the Tower 28 Bronzino, I haven't used this at all this year, actually. This was my replacement one. I've completely finished one of these. I really liked it, and I just now opened it. but that's a swatch there. I really like this. I'm interested to try this one because the last one that I had, it was so interesting because I didn't use it for a while because it was like too pigmented and too deep for me. And this is the shade West Coast. It was too deep for me, and it was so weird because then like 6 to 8 months later when other people were trying them out, they were saying how the formulation was so sheer and they couldn't build it up. And I'm like, bro, mine's so pigmented, I like can't even wear it. Like, it was so weird. And I messaged a brand. They said they didn't reformulate, but I kind of feel otherwise. And I feel like when I start trying this out, it's really going to solidify my opinion because already in the swatch, it was much more sheer than my last one. So I know they said what they said, but I think that they might have reformulated it. So I'm really interested to dive into this and start using it. It's a really great summer bronzer for me. It's so glowy, has a nice juicy dew to the skin. Really a great one that I personally really enjoy. I think that's probably my favorite product from Tower 28 that I've tried is the Bronzino. To be completely honest with you, really enjoy this one. Decided to pull it back out. Next up, we have a powder. This one is from LYS, and this is the shade No Limits. It's a No Limits matte bronzer in the shade Motivate. This is their shade Light. So listen. This is another one that I don't really feel like is like a super accurate description of the shade because I like it. I can get away with it, but I feel like that is more on the light to medium side. You have to go in with a light hand, just for me at least with my skin tone. Otherwise it can look too bronzed and muddy really easily. So I have to go in with a very light hand and take my time slowly blending the product so that I don't have any issues. But I definitely think that if you're like a similar skin tone as me, be cautious. If you're fairer than me, it's probably going to be too dark for you. And I do enjoy the formula. I like this. I just think that I would probably benefit more from a lighter shade, especially with how pigmented that the product is. Next up, we have an OG, the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I actually won this in my Girl Stuffs giveaway, like, I don't know, over a year ago. And I had never tried it before then. This one's just in the shade Bronzer. And one, I hate the packaging. Everybody does. It's just so unnecessary. It is so unnecessary. I haven't really used this in a while, but it's one that I really like. Like, see, look how much lighter this shade is compared to this shade. Like, crazy. And to be honest, this one is, I think it's like Physicians Formula. Okay, let's real talk. Physicians Formula is expensive, in my opinion, for a drugstore brand. Not only is it expensive, but this packaging is cheap, it's bulky, everybody hates it, but they don't listen to us. I don't know why. But this is like $11, $12. The LYS one, I think, runs around the $15 range. But in all honesty, I would say you're better off with this one. I just think that this is better. It's a more, I guess for my preference, it's a more buildable formulation. The shade is better for me as well. It's not overly pigmented, which I like. You can kind of build it to where you want. But yeah, I really love it. It's long lasting. It blends out beautifully. It truly is. I see why it's a cult classic. It truly is incredible. So I'm on the bandwagon. I also love it. The next powder bronzer and the last powder bronzer in my collection is from Kylie Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Tequila Tan. I picked this up when all her products were like hella marked down at Ulta Beauty. So I got it for like $8, and I don't think I would pay $1 more for it now that I've tried it, honestly. It's just, it's fine. What I like about this one, it's that shade down there, is, oh, it almost looks warmer right there. Well, regardless, it's a little bit lighter than these two, way lighter than that one, but it's a little bit lighter than my Physicians Formula one, and it is a much sheer formula. Like, you really have to build it up, but you also have to be careful because sometimes it can pull cool toned, and I don't know why or what triggers it to pull cool. It is so interesting, but overall, I mean, for $8, I think that it's a nice bronzer. Like I said, I wouldn't pay any more than that for it, but it's a really nice bronzer. And it does have a decent amount of use on it. I've almost completely weared off the embossing, and I've used it quite a bit. So I do think that there is probably quite a bit of product in here. Yeah, there is quite a bit of product in here. There's the same amount of product in this compact as there is in the Physicians Formula bronzer. So that is good. And then this was cheaper. So I think that's awesome. And I just wish Physicians Formula would do anything else. Just do some kind of compact like this. Like, is it really that much to ask? Apparently so, but come on. The next one in my collection is from Danessa Myricks. It is the Balm Contour. I have the shade Light 2, and this actually has like a pretty nice dip in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I really do enjoy this. I will say I don't think it's a contour shade at all, at least not on me. It's definitely more of a bronzer shade, and a warm bronzer at that. There it is. I have to be careful. This one can have a tendency to pull too warm on me, almost to the point of like being a little bit on the orangey side. So this one, even though I really do like it and I think that it blends out nicely, it has really great staying power. It's one that I will typically use for like underpainting, just because it can be risky in terms of looking a little bit orange. But I also felt like the shade 1 was more of a contour shade in the way that I don't like way too light and too cool tone for me. I felt like it would have pulled kind of gray. So that's why I went with shade Light 2. I really kind of wish she would do something in the middle, because I think that would be perfect for me and I would enjoy it more. But formulation wise, this is good and I do highly recommend it. It's another one that I need to rotate in and focus on. I think that it is my second oldest blush, or Jesus, you know, what time is it? 7:30. It is my second oldest bronzer, like cream wise, so it's definitely one that I need to start like rotating to the front to get some more use on. The last bronzer in my collection, that's right, I think I have like 15 or 16, I don't know, but I've really dwindled it down, you guys. And this one is newer to my collection, but it's one that I've really been enjoying. It's the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer. I will say the compact can be a little hard to open sometimes, which is so annoying. I hate that. And I got the shade 02 Butter Biscuit, and this comes back to tone. This is a nice tone on me. A really, really great neutral tone. And I feel like it's so hard to find anything with a neutral tone anymore. It's all alleged. There's so much shit that's like, I'm neutral, and it ain't. But I really do think that this is a true neutral undertone. It doesn't pull cool on me. It's not warm on me. It's like perfect. It actually kind of reminds me, I wonder if the Nude Sticks one is similar. Oh no, the Nude Sticks one is a lot warmer. Wow. So it does look cool and compared to the Nude Sticks one, but I really like this one. The formulation is good. It blends out really easily, long lasting. I also think the compact is just really pretty, chic, cute. travel friendly. It has like a really nice big mirror in it. I like that about it. So honestly, this one's a good one as well, and they're available at Ulta now. So that's something that you could use to pick up with points. I picked up mine as a replacement because I had emptied a cream bronzer. But yeah, I've really been loving it so far. And I'm to the point where like I've really catered my collection to only items that I really, really love. The only one that I could really, well, there's only two I could see myself getting rid of. This one, but I hang on to it because it is lighter, and that's good when I'm real pale. But even then I tend to use like a little bit of a warmer bronzer to bring some life back to my face. So I could see myself potentially decluttering this one. I've thought about it. The other one is the one from Fido, just because it breaks my heart, but I still just think it's gonna be too warm for me. I am gonna keep trying it. I'm actually probably gonna put it on my makeup after I finish filming this, just to see. But I could see myself getting rid of this if it continues to not work. And then also, even though I really love this, I could see myself getting rid of it just because the tone is so warm on me. Man, there's a lot of product in that. I was thinking maybe there wouldn't be that much and I could just pan it real quick and use it as like an underpaint. But really, you don't need a lot when you use these, especially if they're too dark, if they're dark. Yeah, this has 3.7 grams. I wonder how much this has. Yeah, so this has more product in it than this has, and I rolled this all the way up, and there's a ton of product in here. So this would actually take a while. So potentially I could see myself getting rid of these, but I'm not in a place right now where I'm like ready to declutter them, and I'm not like a forced declutter person. I don't do that. I declutter when I'm ready, and only when I'm ready. And speaking of declutter, there will be another one coming your way very soon. I'm thinking next week when I get back from vacation, I will film that for you guys, just because I was going to wait until the end of the year and do like one big one, but like I already have almost 20 products and I just don't want to look at it anymore. I don't want it sitting around. So that will be coming to you all soon. Yeah, I think that's it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you stayed until the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button though before you leave. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.